Council meeting to order 2023. We acknowledge that we are on the traditional land of the Kickapoo, Osage, Miami, Iroquois, and Great Sioux Nation people. Please rise and join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Correll.
Here.
Councilmember Garcia.
Here.
Councilmember Fockingham.
Here.
Councilmember Homa.
Here.
Mayor Knapper.
Here.
Councilmember Page.
Here.
Councilmember Maddox.
Here.
Madam Mayor, a quorum is present.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, item number 6, please.
Motion to excuse council, I'm sorry.
You're fine.
Approval of the council agenda.
May I have a motion?
Motion to approve the agenda.
I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda to remove items 13, 14, and 15.
Motion seconded. Any discussion on the amendment to the agenda? Or a motion to amend the agenda? Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't have enough time to get some information on these 3 issues, so I just want to talk about these with you guys at whatever we're gonna do, a closed session.
Can you give me those numbers again, please?
Number 13, 14, and 15.
(13), 14, and 15, council pertains to bids. And so we would discuss that in a closed session. All right, any further discussion? All those in favor of amending the agenda to exclude items number 13, 14, and 15, please say aye. 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 Any opposed? All right, that motion carries.
And do we have to?
Now may I have a motion? I'm sorry. You're good. You're good. Now may I have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. The agenda is amended. Madam Clerk, item number 7, please.
Public hearing to hear citizens' comments on a request to amend the city code section 12-117, adoption of property maintenance code, B, section 602.1, facilities required to require air conditioning in dwelling units.
At this time, the public is invited to provide comment regarding this agenda item. If you are joining us via Zoom, please raise your Zoom hand and Mr. Nyber will call upon you. If you're joining us in the chambers, please step to the podium.
Mayor Knapper, there are no hands raised on Zoom.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, item number 8.
Public forum.
At this time, the public is welcome to provide comment. Again, if you are joining us via Zoom, please raise your Zoom hand. If you're joining us in the chambers, please step to the podium.
Mayor Knapper, there are no hands raised on Zoom.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, item number 9, please.
Announcements.
We got some cool stuff happening. My House Cat Art Fair is Saturday, October 14th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. October 26th, we have the Great Pumpkin Glow, which is new this year and it's going to be super awesome. And then first Saturday in November, we have an Elder Resource Fair coming up.
Yay. Thank you. Madam Clerk, item number 10, please.
Approval of the September 26, 2023 City Council meeting minutes and closed session minutes.
May I have a motion?
Motion to approve council meeting minutes and closed session minutes.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. That motion carries. Madam Clerk, item number 11.
Great Rivers Greenway presentation by Angelica Gutierrez.
Thank you. Welcome. Thank you both for being with us.
My name is Shauna Daniels, Director of Civic Engagement with Village Greenway. I'm here with my colleague in Halifax. We are here to talk to you tonight about the Deer Creek Greenway in Lakewood. What we'll do is just take a little bit of time to just go over who we are and what we do. Then we'll talk a little bit about the project in Lakewood and then some next steps. So first, with Village Greenway, we are a public agency. We plan, design, and build greenways. We are sales tax funded. We connect the greenway with the region with greenway in St. Louis City, St. Louis County, and St. Charles. We have a vision to connect 600 miles of greenway, and we have a plan for 300 miles to date. At this point, we have 136 miles actually built. We have about 3 million visitors per year on our greenways across the region. Lots of projects on the way, usually about 50 in some various design or planning stage or construction stage. And we always work with municipal partners to make sure that we can bring these greenways to life. This is a map of our current 300-mile network. So we've identified these priorities with community members. And so our network boasts now 18 greenways that we're currently working on, including the Deer Creek Greenway. And I'll have Angelica talk about the Deer Creek Greenway.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having us. I don't recognize many faces. Just one from my first presentation. I remember when I started working on this project in 2017. It's been a while, but here we are. I showed you on the screen the map of the proposed Deer Creek Greenway. It is in 3 cities. It's in the city of St. Louis, city of Maplewood, and city of Webster Groves. This is the vision to connect a missing gap of 1.25 miles between the River des Peres Greenway and the existing Deer Creek Greenway, which is soon connecting to the Brentwood Bound project north of us here. And when you connect to the River des Peres Greenway, as you saw on the previous slide, let me show you really quick. You have a connection of over 20 miles of trail for walking, biking, pushing a stroller, rolling a wheelchair. So the highlighted section here is I don't know if you can tell, but it's a missing link, which when built will be significant for the region, not only for the city of Maplewood, but for the region. So I'll start describing briefly how the project has evolved and how we are handling the 3 different cities with the same project. On the west side is the city of Webster Groves at the corner of the Big Bend and Oxford intersection. We, Great River Greenway, purchased that parcel from McDonald's Corporation in 2019. That was an acquisition that was very difficult. It took a while, but we got there. That land is in both cities, in the city of Webster and in the city of Maplewood, mostly in Webster. Historically, that has been a jurisdiction of Webster Grove because the building was in the city of Webster and the parking lot was in the city of Maplewood. So from the past, we were told that was part of the arrangement between the 2 cities where Webster has jurisdiction over this parcel. So the project kind of, you see a bubble, a blue bubble there. It's kind of separated for the whole Greenway segment as an independent project, which is a small part, open green space. And we are working only with Webster Groves on that one, but it is, of course, part of the project as a whole. We have mentioned this project to the city of Maplewood residents, and we have talked to them, in several engagements that Shanti will show us next. But it is part of the connection overall. So it's part of that. Then we move on Oxford, Sussex, Greenwood, and then that's in the city of Maplewood. We are proposing the Greenway to be on one side of each of the streets. We'll talk about the side of the street on Greenwood tonight. That's the proposed scope change. And then on Canterbury, to the McCausland Ellendale intersection, we have the city of St. Louis. They are contributing funding to us to build the Greenway because we're going to help them redo the street, and the traffic signal configuration is going to be changed to improve safety at that corner. St. Louis County is also a part of they are contributing funding for the signal on Big Bend and Oxford from that innovation. So any questions about the project location, the jurisdictions, anything? Okay. So,
Okay, so we've been working to advance design on this project pretty diligently since 2017. the various phases of this design, whether it be the alignment study, the safety study that we did back in 2018, and then working with the conceptual and active design. We've been focused on making certain that community was a part of the process along the way, so engagement has been ongoing since 2017. And we will continue engagement post-development, so once the project is constructed, we'll continue to engage. And these are just some of the engagement efforts that we've been working on since 2017. There have been various public meetings, citizen advocate leader, actually one of our citizen advocate leaders right here. And open house events, lots of targeted outreach, but also one-on-one conversations with residents and property owners along the way. We'll talk a little bit more about that in just a few minutes.
So, our next steps, so Shannon described where we are. We are in the middle of design right now. We are at the intermediate 70% design right now. Between 2022 and 2024, we have a planned consultant engaged to work on the design of the project, the whole project. It's a team led by M3 Engineering, Houghton Associates for the second, and then DPLS Landscape Architects. They are a great team and they bring a lot of expertise throughout the region. So they are in charge of delivering a design by 2024. And then we have anticipated construction in 2025, 2026, depending on how long it takes. And then as Shannon mentioned, we have an ongoing community engagement effort to talk to all of the residents as we go through the process. So during the 2022-2024 design, the city of Maplewood, you have your Greenwood project, the road reconstruction that is federally funded, the SPP project. The consultant, Houghton Associates, is the same, one of the consultants that we are working on. And during the process of design, it's the opportunity to merge the project where we have the same project area that is on Greenwood, right? So on Greenwood, the city is proposing to redo the street. We are proposing to build the greenway. So they, during the design process, they thought, why don't we do one project and we combine efforts and, create this synergy. So I believe you have seen a memorandum that they wrote, very thorough, explaining all of the benefits, cost savings, and we'll go through that really quick in a minute. But so that's what happens here. So it's an opportunity to create this change, to realign the project, and fortunately or unfortunately, it brings a cost redistribution of the project. So we need to rearrange our federal funding versus the local funding by the city, by GRG, and then create that equilibrium for all of the monies to be allocated correctly to all agencies. That was a lot, but we'll dig through, I promise you. We'll get through. So, the proposed scope change is this. So, on the map, you see segment A, segment B, and segment C. A and C are in yellow. Segment B in blue, which is the Maplewood segment on Greenwood. So the big idea here was to relocate the greenway location on Greenwood from where was proposed initially on the north side and shift it to the south side. So that means that, as I mentioned, there is this opportunity to combine the project. The best idea, after considering many variations of how we can make it happen, was that because the city already had the Greenwood project, the city could absorb the construction of the greenway, and then GRG will build the segment A and C independently, right? So the city is not doing any work on those streets, so GRG will take care of the construction of the greenway. I call them the bookend, right? So that the east and the west connection to the central segment of Greenwood. So we have, as I mentioned, federal funding for each segment for A and C. Great Rivers Greenway applied for the CMAQ, the Congestion Mitigation Air Quality Grant. And Maplewood applied for the Surface Transportation Program, so allocated federal grant for the reconstruction of Greenwood. So between us, we have a lot of federal funds combined to make this project happen. So here are the benefits, and as I said, you have already seen this memorandum, but we kind of compiled all of the benefits here and the positive impact to the project. safety is the biggest one, where we move the greenway from the railroad side, and we move it to the south side of the street. We have less conflict points with the railroad. We have, street crossing with lower volume. And we don't have the Sussex intersection there where we were crossing across the street on the north side. And then on Canterbury, we were crossing there again. So bringing it to the south, we avoid those heavier intersections and we make it safer. Project efficiency, time, cost, and scope. As I mentioned, when you do one project versus two, there is always a saving, and we will find that during the process. We haven't received cost estimates yet, but we will find the savings when we get to that final 70% design. We have the better greenway and street design. That means that initially, when the greenway was going to be on the north side, we were not going to have a buffer between the street and the greenway, or we call it the door zone. So when you open the door, when you're parked, you may hit a bike, or you can obstruct the passage of the greenway users. By moving the greenway to the south side, you can have that buffer, because now you have a narrow sidewalk on the south side, so you can use that area, and you'll see in the renderings that I'm about to show you how you improve efficiency of the space that you have there. So it's a smarter design in a way. Improve ADA design access. So we I don't know if you know this, but there are a few apartment residents that have a need for wheelchair use. When we were doing engagement earlier, we heard from some of them asking us, how do we access the greenway? So we were asking them to cross the street at intersections, which was a longer way to go. But now if we move it to the south side, they have direct access to the greenway, which is beneficial for them. So it's direct access to wheelchair users. And then the last benefit is the simplicity of easements. On the original design, the city was going to have a lot of permanent easements to be able to build those sidewalks on the south side. By shifting the location of the greenway, we now only need temporary construction easements, because we're going to utilize the public right of way, which is going to be a street, two-way traffic, parking on both sides of the street, and then a buffer and a greenway, and then everybody wins. So that, in a nutshell, the benefits of this change. So I will show you this really briefly. You don't need to see all of the detail, but just for you to know, this is what we show the community. That's what we show every single one of the property owners that we met with in the month of July and August. So as you can see here, this is the existing condition of Greenwood. You have a 50-foot right of way, and then you have parking lane, driving lane, parking lane, curb, sidewalk, and then a second tier sidewalk, right? So we show a proposed improved area where you keep that property line by the railroad at the same location. We have parking, driving parking, and then the buffer that I mentioned is about 18 inches wide, plus the width, and then the greenway, which will be 10 feet wide, and then that additional space between that property line and the frontage of the building. So this is the proposed idea. This is what we show them. I'll show the other rendering, which brings us to the project, which is a little bit more residential. This is existing condition, and this is proposed. So we have a little bit of a different conditions here, where people bring their trash cans and recycling bins outside. They use the parking lane, so it'll be the same condition. It's just that right now, with the proposed idea, would be a wider cycle, let's call it like that. But it's really the greenway, when people will have to make the extra 2 steps to bring their trash can outside to the parking lane. And then I have a couple other renderings showing ideas, like, for example, this is the Sutton intersection, the Greenwood Sutton intersection, where we are putting up an optional fence, and that's the idea, to kind of divide public and private land for benefiting both. Benefiting, in this case, this restaurant or bar that may have an opportunity to have tables and chairs outside, so they get protected from people walking and biking, and vice versa. They don't encroach in the right of way and put extra tables where people will be walking or biking. So kind of the limit that, and that's gonna be a negotiation that we will have to do with all of these businesses here to give them what they feel is best. But we believe a separation is important here for what I just. So this is another view, showing the one crosswalk proposed at this location, getting you north to Sutton and the business district in Manchester, higher view. And if you notice, the green paint on the driveway is just a visual cue of the notation. Here is where people will cross traffic or potential vehicles entering and exiting of their driveway. We're doing this in other locations across the region, and it's been helpful for just that, a visual cue of safety, pretty much. Like, let drivers, okay, I'm about to cross a cycle track or a greenway, so be aware. Another view of the optional fence, how this would look like, a view of the area more in the residential area. We will have to relocate some utility poles because they will be kind of on the way. This is just an example of how the wayfinding sign could be located to guide people and help them navigate the area. We would like to do the white and green pavement markings on the crosswalk for, again, added visibility when crossing the street. Another view on further down on the greenway. The opposite view, now we're looking towards Sutton. And this is an important one. So this is, if you can see the green highlighted area with the temporary construction easement. This is like a 5-foot wide strip of land across the frontage of all of the properties here, which we would like to have for room to work, to have the contractor be able to place forms for the concrete pouring and all of that. So this is very typical for a project like this. It's to be compensated. They can donate the easement or we can pay them for the easement. So it's going to be part of, and all of this is included in our federal fund package. We kind of allocated funding for that cost. So when we talk to all of these property owners, but with most of them, we mentioned this, so they know that's coming, and there were no big issues with this, so they know it will be part of the process. Okay, well, that was what Shanti will tell us what happened there after we talked to them.
Right, so of course, engagement is critical to all of the work that we do, but particularly when we're changing the scope of a project. You know, when we first presented the Greenway alignment and we had all those meetings about the alignment, we have been talking about the north side of the street. So it's really important to come back to the community, particularly the property owners and residents, to say, well, we could try to do it this other way and let's get your feedback. So we reached out in June and July to all of the property owners and residents and businesses and everybody we could reach to discuss this alignment change. And we had several meetings in July and August. So in Halifax and Anthony and I literally went out and walked door to door for the street walk, the night street walk, to gather information. So what we heard and what we learned. So the proposed realignment to South Side is generally preferred. People were actually happy that we decided to move the street from the north to the south, mainly because for them, and they had told us before when we were talking about the north side, that they were concerned about the interaction with the railroad property, the crossing of Sutton, and just the safety of that intersection. So it was preferred that we move the alignment to the south side. There were concerns about cyclists riding fast, particularly people walking that are coming out of businesses. And cyclists' behavior is different sometimes, but what we do know is that a lot of times when cyclists want to ride fast, they're going to ride the street. And the alignment change with the street change, it's gonna be a little tight, but if cyclists really want to get by, they're gonna move out of there, off the greenway onto the street. Probably made pretty fast that way. There were concerns about the appearance of the railroad property on the opposite side of the street. So if we put the beautiful greenway on the south side, what does happen to the north side? What's it gonna look like? Of course, we don't have any control over that. The railroad property, I know that the city does a lot of maintenance on that property. whether they are supposed to or not, but, you know, that's a little bit out of our control, but hopefully we will be able to, or the railroad would, you know, they take better care once we. Okay, the Hickory Street on Greenwood, so, we have a really wide street. People tend to drive really fast, you know, going with Green. We have been, as we were walking up and down Greenwood and Clinton and other streets, we've seen the speed of those cars. By, reducing the lane width, that should slow down some of that, particular speed on Greenwood. The proposed width of the driving lane, some people were concerned that if you know, reduce the lane width, it's gonna make it too narrow and you know, people would just drive down it, but again, it'll slow the cars down, so it's kind of, you know, one hand or the other, to determine whether or not, you know, how your perception is gonna feel different, of course, when you're driving down a narrow road. The visibility is people that's crossings, side streets, like the Valley, Conroe, and driveways. And those renderings that we use that green paint, we've been doing that across Greenwood, all across the region. To have it so it stands out, those intersections really stand out. It's a measure of caution for vehicles, a measure of caution for pedestrians, for cyclists. It's very bright, you can see it, and you're gonna say, okay, I know something's coming here, and we're gonna slow down. We'll also have, you know, signage and other things that indicate, you know, use caution, for people using the greenway or there are cars coming this way. And then parking availability, road closures during construction. So of course, you know, no matter what, whether the greenway is coming or not, with the city's road project, there are gonna be some impacts. What we are committed to is making certain, again, that everyone knows that the timeline is, the schedule is, they know when those impacts are coming. We believe that there'll probably be a limited number of days that will impact any particular business or property owner, and we can provide that business and property owner with that information so that they know these particular days, I'm gonna have limited access, I might have to make some other arrangements. But again, the communication, you know, thing, we want to make certain that we're communicating transparently about all of that.
Okay, so now we're gonna talk about costs and how they change causes redistribution of the cost. So first, in different boxes here, we show you the different funding sources of the $6 million project. Initially, as you know, presented to the ACES Gateway for the CMAQ grant. So Greater Greenway has all of the Greenway construction. All of the Greenway construction, then the city of Maplewood is doing the Greenwood reconstruction. So you also have that railroad Fort Gate project that is, I believe, that's a 70% design, and you are working diligently on that. Thank you for that, because that kind of needs to be done maybe a little bit before our project, so we, you know, create a synergy there and everything gets done concurrently. The city of San Luis, as I mentioned, is also providing some funding from the Alemannic Fund. I had to present to their committees and in public infrastructure a couple months ago, and we have a reimbursement agreement already in place. In San Luis County, they are also contributing funding for the Big Bend and Upper intersection. We are working through right now on that reimbursement agreement. So it will be paying funds for us to do that design and construction of the intersection. So that's how things sit right now. So this is what the proposed tolls redistribution on Greenwood only. As I mentioned to you before, we have segment A, B, and C. This is only for segment B. So all of the public infrastructure improvement on Greenwood. So forget about the bookends, and this is just for Greenwood. So originally on, let me put first the blue, the center row there, Maplewood Road cost. That's the number. Those are the numbers that you had in your SPP application. Total cost 1.4 million for the street reconstruction, and you had your 80% contribution from the federal government, and then you pay 20%, right? That's the original contract that you have. So if our proposal is to give Maplewood the funding necessary to construct the greenway on Greenwood, the total cost is 1.9 million. That number right above the 1.4 million. So that is from the CMAQ grant, 1.4 million. So coming from the federal government, the CMAQ funds will not come to GRG. They will go to the city of Maplewood. And then GRG will provide the remainder of that cost, 536,000, to the city of Maplewood. That's making the total cost of 3.3 million available for the city to build this one project at the same time. We can work through reimbursement agreements, similar to what I'm doing with the city of St. Louis and San Luis County. We can have the same type of agreement with the city of Maplewood to make sure that you're receiving the funding, that it is to build this greenway on Greenwood. So I'll stop right here for a minute and see if you have any questions about the cost, or if this is, we try to make it as clear as possible. So, you know, you see that there is some CMAQ participation, some SCP participation, and then you have a total federal fund coming in of 2.5 million. As you know, this is a federal reimbursement where you are getting reimbursed as you incur in the cost. So you pay and you get reimbursed, you pay and you get reimbursed. So we had a nice conversation with our finance director here and Anthony, and we just wanted to explain that and make sure that the city could be prepared for that in case this proposal comes through and you know, you all are in agreement with it. So that's for the cost distribution. So if you all agree with this as the best way to move forward, what needs to happen is that because these two grant applications were written by the city of Maplewood and Great Rivers Greenway, we need to combine efforts and send a written request to East West Gateway requesting the change, explaining to them we did all of this engagement, what we just presented to you. Explaining all of the engagement, and we need to provide a letter of commitment from the city of Maplewood to do this, to receive the funding, the additional funding to be able to build the project. Great Rivers Greenway will have to modify our CMAQ agreement to change that funding, so to shift to give you that 1.7 million of CMAQ funds to the city, and then just give up with the CMAQ funding for the weekend. And then the city will have to amend the SCP agreement that I believe you have already executed because you are already in progress on that design, and make an amendment. That's a very simple process, I believe, with modeling and with the gateway. And then at the end, we make sure that we have our operations and maintenance agreement, which is an agreement that we say Great Rivers Greenway is providing all of the public infrastructure, and the city of Maplewood will operate and maintain the facilities that are provided by the Greenway. The only thing that we keep as maintenance is any GRG signage or environmental graphics. We keep we help with the maintenance. So that's, I think, all I have. I know it was a lot of information, and some of you were a little bit aware of this already, but I don't know if there's room for questions or if you kind of already knew about this happening. I am the project manager for this project, and Tennessee has been and will continue helping with the city's engagement as we move forward. So tonight, I believe, I don't know if this letter that we need from Maplewood needs to be in the package that we send to the Gateway as soon as we possibly can, so we can get all of these funding shifted and rearranged so we can continue with the process. I don't know, Anthony, what else? That's the end of the presentation. So should we do it?
Maybe we'll do a resolution next. That's okay with the council. The changes.
Yeah, so I believe a resolution will be appropriate for formalizing the change, and then with that you can provide that later to GRG. We have already drafted the request with the Gateway. We have shared with Anthony. That's how we work all of the numbers, and then we're only missing the letter from Maplewood pending your approval, and then we'll move forward. So
One of the things that's quite important, we touched on the agreement, funding agreement. Why would that reflect to you by taking over the project? we need to make sure we have so many reserves, so much in reserve. And we're doing that expenditure, we have to wait for potential delays. We may not have that in reserve, and we may come up with an agreement with GRG, where they may essentially flow us some money temporarily if need be. Again, we will have our matching money, but we have to pay it all up front. And aside from economy of scale, saving money on a project like Consolidated, the biggest improvement is we're doing 2 projects in one. And for residents on Greenwood, they'll have one person to go to, and that would be the city, and we think GRD for working with us on that, because that's what we're gonna have the most involved with the business and the residents. And so if there's a problem, they would be able to go straight, basically straight to the city and make it, and then we will be part of having weekly project meetings, so it's a big project. But I Consolidated, in the city saves up front, and it's nice because we don't have to take 12 years. One other thing I'm looking to do is the road where we tend to be like 10.5, but we basically took out that 5 foot sidewalk out south. And they have a lot of rooms are allowed for the pedestrian. So it's an exciting project, and here people are fantastic as far as the John P. I go backwards to make sure that
I do have a couple of questions. I travel this stretch every day, multiple times, so a couple of questions and comments. First one about the St. Elmo and Piccadilly intersections. I saw you had comments about visibility. There's often cars parked all the way up to the intersections on both sides, and it's very difficult to see when you're coming out to turn either direction from St. Elmo or from Piccadilly onto Greenwood. Is there any concern that people have to park on the Greenway to be able to leave those intersections at the stop sign there?
I don't think that will be able to park on the Greenway because it will be elevated.
So you have to cross it to get out, but you have to stop on the Greenway to be able to inch out to see past the parked vehicles. So you would be blocking it, and during peak traffic in the morning and evening, a lot of times people sit there for several seconds to be able to get out either direction.
Yeah, I know the consultant has been looking at so you may have heard that the visibility triangle, where you are sitting in your car and you're turning left and turning right and looking both ways and making sure that the space that you need to see for oncoming traffic is clear. So they avoid planting trees on the corners or tall vegetation or things like that. So yes, it is a concern. And yes, there is an engineering solution for that type. And it's not only for the Greenway. I think that applies for all of the intersections when you have to check, and it's not a traffic signal, but it's a stop sign. So yeah.
Second question is about the Greenwood Road intersection. We need to put signage there that lets people know that traffic coming from the north on Sutton doesn't stop. Because currently I see 3 near accidents a week there. And so I know raising the road will help, but I think if we have the Greenway with additional foot traffic and pedestrian traffic, that could even be more complex with people coming over those tracks, turning left and right and not stopping.
Yeah.
As part of our block gate installation, there's going to be a significant amount of signage surrounding that entire crossing. That's all part of the federal requirements that will now be subject to.
You put one that says keep moving, because so many people come over those tracks and stop. And you're sitting there behind them like, dude, my car's in the tracks. So I've honked my horn there a lot, so.
You have to stop, there's a pedestrian crossing. You can't see that sometimes when you're coming around like on the shade crossover from that side. Yes, they do crossover, so if you're coming down Sutton and you're going left, you can't, and you're already across the track, you can't see all the time a pedestrian in a certain spot. I drove a minivan, trust me, I've done it, like.
I haven't experienced that. I've experienced what Sean is talking about, which there isn't a pedestrian there and folks just sit there.
Oh. Yeah.
So I've experienced that.
I've seen both. Yeah. Well, Yeah, when we were sitting in Modesto, we observed, there were cars trying to hit that, so.
I saw at least one near accident, but we were never half an hour. Maybe two.
Yeah, I think I've seen every single condition that you can imagine. I've seen cars flying and going, like not stopping, others stopping right there where they shouldn't, they need to keep going. Like misses because cars are so close and people cannot see when turning left. I think I've seen every single condition or on safety there, that it would be great for business projects that we take care of that.
But with having one crossing across Greenwood on just that one, rather than the two, or should eliminate that issue.
Half of the permit, yeah.
Yes, with the cars turning left. Should eliminate that.
Anyway,
No questions, just a comment. I really appreciate the engagement that you all continue to have with our community and to ensure that our residents know what's going on. Thank you so much for that, because you could gloss over it and say, oh, we talked to a few businesses and we're good to go, but you don't. So thank you.
Yeah, I mean, again, we went through one round of engagement and we haven't gotten enough responses. So we opened up the calendar and did some more on some really hot days, but it was important because we wanted to make certain that we reached the maximum number of people and got the word out and heard what they're at.
Thank you. All right, Madam Clerk, are you ready? Item number 12, please.
Ordinance number 6026, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Maplewood, Missouri, establishing the tax rates for the City of Maplewood and the Maplewood Special Business District on all real, personal, tangible, and intangible property within the City of Maplewood, Missouri for 2023.
May I have a motion?
I move to amend something previously adopted and specifically to amend ordinance number 6026 to correct the tax rate for the solid waste fund, changing the commercial rate from 0.262 to 0.258.
Second.
Oh, you got more to read. You see that?
Oh, it'll have the effect of changing the total tax rate for commercial from $1.45.5 to $1.45.10.
Keep going.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Probably should have read it before. And changing the special business district residential tax rate from 0.0710 to 0.07 and the commercial rate from 0.219 to 0.218.
May I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, the motion to amend something previously adopted and specifically to amend ordinance number 6026 to correct the tax rate for the solid waste fund, changing the commercial rate from 26.2 cents to 25.80 cents, which will also have the effect of changing the total tax rate for commercial from $1.45 to $1.4510, and changing the special business district residential tax rate from 0.0710 cents to 0.0700 cents, and the commercial rate from 21.9 cents to 21.8 cents. Madam Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Garcia,
Yes.
Councilmember Fockingham,
Yes.
Councilmember Homa,
Yes.
Mayor Knapper,
Yes.
Councilmember Page,
Yes.
Councilmember Maddox,
Yes.
Councilmember Correll.
Yes.
Ordinance number 6026 as amended is approved.
Thank you.
Sorry, I didn't mean to make this.
Yeah, man, that was fine. It was teamwork makes the dream work. All right, Madam Clerk, item number 16, please.
Bill number 6233, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Maplewood, Missouri, amending Chapter 2 Administration, Article 4, Administrative Code, Section 2-326, City Manager of the Maplewood Code of Ordinances to establish a pay range for the city manager.
That was the first reading. May I have a motion?
Motion to approve the ordinance?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Madam Clerk, second reading, please.
Bill number 6233, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Maplewood, Missouri, amending Chapter 2 Administration, Article 4, Administrative Code, Section 2-326, City Manager of the Maplewood Code of Ordinances to establish a pay range for the city manager.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. The third and final reading will take place at the next council meeting. Madam Clerk, item number 17, please.
Bill number 6232, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Maplewood, Missouri, amending the Maplewood Code of Ordinances, Chapter 12, Buildings and Building Regulations, Division 2, Property Maintenance, Section 12-117, Adoption of Property Maintenance Code B, Additions, Insertions, and Changes, Section 602.1, Facilities required by repealing the text of said section and inserting in its stead text adding a requirement for air conditioning in dwelling units.
That was the final reading. May I have a motion?
Motion to approve the bill?
Second.
Any discussion? Thanks, y'all. All right. Madam Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Page,
Yes.
Councilmember Maddox,
Yes.
Councilmember Correll,
Yes.
Councilmember Garcia,
Yes.
Councilmember Fockingham,
Yes.
Councilmember Homa,
Yes.
Mayor Knapper.
Yes.
Ordinance number 6027 is approved.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, item number 18.
Old business,
Madam Clerk, item number 19.
council communication,
Any communication? Right. Madam Clerk, item number 20.
mayor's report.
Thank you. I just want to highlight the Elder Resource Fair. Thank you so much to city employees for partnering with the Mayor's Elder Task Force. I want to thank the volunteers on the Mayor's Elder Task Force that are working really hard to make sure that this is another successful event for the elders in our community as well as the surrounding communities. Because last year, the advertisement that we had on Facebook brought some elders in from the city of St. Louis, and it was very exciting to get to talk with them. Excuse me. So finally, I just want to show gratitude and thanks to our main sponsors, which is CNB STL Bank, Maplewood Richmond Heights School District, and Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, Xi Zeta Chapter. Yeah, I know. So thank you all so much for being a sponsor. We have a bunch of vendors that are going to be there providing information for our elders. The best way to age in place, how to find ways to adjust the inside of your home so it's fall safe, so you're not falling as much. And if you are falling, then we actually have someone there that's going to present on the best way to fall so you don't break any bones. So like, it's really, it's a good resource fair. We're going to have the police, our police department, our fire department, our social services coordinator present, talking about scams, talking about your what is it, your fire, your smoke detector, all kinds of things. So if you are a caregiver, this is a great resource fair for you. You don't have to be just an elder to come. Like if you're a caregiver of elders, then please come to this as well, because this is for you. And that's it. I'm excited about it. So, and you all are welcome to stop by. We'll have snacks.
So library.
Library. Oh, no, thank you. It is going to be at the ECC preschool gym, because it is ADA accessible and our elders can just walk in easily and walk out. So we want to make sure that it's there. So that, yeah, thank you for that question. Okay, That concludes my report. Madam Clerk, item number 21.
City attorney's report.
Happy birthday. All right. Madam Clerk, item number 22.
City manager's report.
I have nothing to report.
All right, thank you. Madam Clerk, item number 23.
Public forum.
At this time, if you would like to provide, any comment, you are welcome to do so. Please raise your Zoom hand if you're joining us via Zoom, and please step to the podium if you are joining us in the chambers.
I see no hands raised on Zoom, Mayor.
Thank you. All right. Item number 24, may I have a motion to hold a closed session?
Yes. Yeah, motion to approve the closed session, but what's it about?
Oh, to discuss real estate matters and personal matters. My bad. Thank you.
No problem.
Look at
Ooh.
it, teamwork.
Second.
What's up? Another time. Yes, no problem. Okay, any discussion? All right, hearing none, Madam Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Maddox,
Yes.
Councilmember Correll,
Yes.
Councilmember Garcia,
Yes.
Councilmember Fockingham,
Yes.
Councilmember Homa,
Yes.
Mayor Knapper,
Yes,
Councilmember Page.
Yes.
thank you. We are now going to go into closed session. Those joining us via Zoom, we will not return. Those joining us in the chambers, we will return, but it will be a while. So thank you. Good night.
You would think.